Hi everyone, it's drearydolls here and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to do a different little sit down and chat video, and I want to talk about my wishes for the Disney Illy doll line. I know that it's not a competition on who can talk about this doll line the most, but my goodness, I might be winning because I can't get enough of them. I keep making reviews on them because I buy freaking all of the ones that they keep releasing. So I just want to chat about my wishes for the line, ideas I have for the line. Not that anyone is really asking me for this at all, but it's something that I wanted to talk about, and this channel is my outlet for talking about dolls. So I'm just going to go through one by one, talk about my thoughts, and maybe throw up some visuals, and yeah. Okay, so starting strong with number one, more characters. And I know for a fact that I am not alone in this. Everyone wants more characters. We want less Stitch dolls. Dare I say even less Minnie dolls, which I really like the Minnie Mouse dolls, but my goodness, Stitch and Minnie Mouse, they just keep making dolls of. And I kind of understand, and I would understand if it was like Mickey and Minnie Mouse getting a bunch of dolls because they are kind of the faces of Disney. I really can't wrap my head around the Stitch stuff. And I like Stitch, okay? This is not me knocking Stitch. But oh my gosh, it is an absurd amount. It feels like an inside joke with Jakk Specific and with the people that buy this line because it is so many dolls. Especially when knowing there's so many characters that haven't been done. One that frequently comes to mind is Tinkerbell. Like, I just want a Tinkerbell doll. I want something Alice in Wonderland related, anything Peter Pan related, really, I would love. A lot of the princesses we haven't gotten. We've seen them from the Disney line, but that feels so far removed and so separate now. Like, it's time for a Cinderella doll. It's time for an Aurora doll. Like, it's time for these really, iconic characters to get some representation within this line. And so I would just like more characters. I like when they branch out with maybe ones you wouldn't necessarily expect. I particularly liked the Hocus Pocus doll. I thought that was a really great doll. All of the Nightmare Before Christmas characters that they've done have been fun. So I like when I know they can do it. It's just that they don't want to for whatever reason. And I don't know why. So that's my very first request from them is more characters. The next one is now kind of a moot point because they did it, but I don't like how they did it. So, because I've actually had this list for a long time and I just never made a video talking about it, but one of the things on my list was fashion packs. And if you haven't seen, there have been some photos circulating of some fashion packs. Now, my biggest gripe with these is they're reusing pieces. It feels a little lazy, dare I say, to me, to reuse pieces. One of them is a complete reusal of the outfit from the Budget I Heart Daisy doll, which I guess, like, okay, fine, if you didn't want to buy the doll, but you can buy the outfit. I'm not mad necessarily at that. But the other outfits, again, Stitch and Minnie, because who else would they do fashion packs for? But they have some reused pieces, whether it's the bags or I think it's mostly the purses and stuff that are reused from what I can see in pictures. The Stitch one looks like the shirt is new. The shorts might be reused. I know that bag is reused. And then the Minnie one, I know that bag is reused. I can't quite tell from photos about the shirt and pants and shoes. And then no shade to Rebel Heart, but what a random or Rebel or Red. Who I don't even know who this is, actually, now that I think about it, but it's I Heart Red. Is it from, I'm gonna guess, Disney Descendants? I don't know, but 'cause it says Rebel at heart. I was thinking at this point, Radio Rebel. I don't know. I don't know who this is, but what a random, what a random character. This one I will give at least has some different pieces. The skirt is either exactly or very similar to the Cruella doll skirt. The only difference is that I think the Cruella one might not have hearts as the buttons, but I could be wrong. But the boots are different. They have little broken hearts on them. The bag is cute. The shirt is cute. I'll give it that. But wow, what a random choice. I need to sit in on one of these meetings at Jakk Pacific on how they're deciding what characters to do. And also, let's talk about this. $10, almost $11, $10.97. $11 for, I'm sorry, not that great of fashion packs. And I like Disney Illy, okay? I love Disney Illy, actually. And the Disneyline fashion packs were $17, which is crazy. But man, they have some like high quality items in those fashion packs. They have some very high quality clothing and accessories in those fashion packs. I am not seeing that same quality with these. I think these really should be $5. The most I would pay for them is $7, I would say. These are not, to me, worth $11, especially for something with reused pieces. And I feel like I haven't really seen anybody talking about it because some people are posting on Reddit that they have seen them in person or bought them, which is fine. I'm not judging. And I really wanted fashion packs from Jakk Pacific. I wanted nothing more, especially because the budget dolls, they come with one outfit. So it's nice to have alternative outfits. I love the fashion packs. I've been collecting the Disney brand ones on like secondhand. So I'm not against a fashion pack, but this is just, in my opinion, not very well done. So my wish for them is to, one, do better fashion packs. I don't know if this is just kind of trying to gauge interest, if people would even want them, but then at least gauge interest with something that's good. So I don't know if it's that, but I want fashion packs, but I want them done better from them. The next point I have on my list is more hair colors. So I know that they sometimes, very rarely, venture into fun hair, okay? We have a few dolls with streaks. I know the Disneyline dolls, a lot of them had hair color streaks with like blue or whatever. We're not talking about them. We're mostly talking about Jakk Pacific because they fully have the line now. So we're not even worried about Disney. There's a few dolls with fun, colorful hair. The Cruella doll has the blonde bits. And then the Jack and Sally doll has that like kind of reddish hair. And the Ursula doll has purple hair. But that's it. Pretty much everything else, it's black, brunette, blonde. And I would just like something. Give me a doll with just fully pink hair. Give me a doll with fully blue hair. Oh, a dark blue. That'd be so fun. I understand if they don't want to go too fun and crazy and have like a full head of neon green hair, but also why not? Why not? I don't know. I want to see a little bit more variety in the hair colors. I just think of other doll brands like Rainbow High. I mean, I know that's kind of not fair to compare because their whole thing is the color of the dolls. But man, seeing dolls with like emerald green hair and orange and all these beautiful colors, like it just makes me want to see that on these dolls. And I understand, they're kind of supposed to be normal gals, Disney bounding, whatever, but let's have a little, I feel like we can have a little fun. A lot of normal gals have crazy hair too. So I would like to see more fun hair colors. Kind of with that, I used to have on the list more face molds, but they've been really doing a good job with kind of exploring more face molds. So I took that off. I will give them that plus, is I think they've been doing a good job with having different faces and stuff in the line. Next is, and I don't know if this is controversial, but more holiday dolls because the Disney line did the Christmas set, and I thought that was such a great set of dolls. And I would like to see more themed dolls. Again, my mind always goes back to how many Lalaloopsy, or not, well, just Lalaloopsy in general, used to do so many holiday themed dolls for either Valentine's Day or Christmas time or Halloween. And I just really want to see that in more doll brands in general. But this video is about Disney Illy, so we'll project it onto them. They kind of were doing it a little bit with releasing the Jakk and Sally doll around Halloween. The Hocus Pocus doll came out around the fall, and I'm like, okay, like I see where they're coming from. They're kind of leaning into it, but I want a Valentine's doll. I want like a couple doll. Pick any couple from the Disney universe. Make a kind of a budget doll of like, ooh, I heart, blah, blah, blah. And it's like clearly Valentine's themed. I don't know how to explain it very well, but in my mind, it makes sense. And I'm not in charge of creating dolls, so they can figure out what I'm trying to say. But just more dolls themed around the holidays. I'm kind of a sucker for that kind of stuff. And so if they did a little bit more of that, I would not be upset, is what I'm saying. And actually, that kind of leads into my next wish on the wish list, which is more sets of some kind. And I'm not talking like play sets or anything like that. Maybe they will get into that, which I would probably buy that too. But more sets of dolls, like dolls that clearly match. I talked about this in one of my reviews. I can't remember which one. It might have been the Bo Peep review. But for example, the Bo Peep doll is very clearly in pajamas, has like a sleep mask. It's sleepover themed. I wouldn't mind a set of budget dolls that were all that sort of theme. That's what I mean by quote unquote sets of dolls. I wouldn't mind a set like that. Even something, let's get out there. Let's do a set of roller skating dolls. Let's do things like that. And I know it's trickier for Disney Illy because other brands have their characters, right? So they can take the main Bratz girls and say, this is these characters if they went skiing. This is these characters if they went to the beach. And I understand Disney Illy can't really do that because it doesn't work the same way. They don't have names. They don't have a core set of dolls that we see every single wave or whatever. But I still think they can work around it. And I still think that they could release a wave or a set of dolls that have very similar theming but are all different dolls. And what I really most wish for though is a set of like ice skating dolls. And I think about there is an 18-inch Olaf ice skating doll. And I think about a lot if they shrunk that down and made it into a 12-inch doll. Oh my gosh. And if they made a few of them with some of their kind of Snow White, maybe Olaf, maybe another wintry character, one themed after Belle in her cloak. I don't know. But I would eat that up so bad. And I think that maybe even get into putting some glitter on the dolls' faces. Some people probably hate that, but I would be open to it. I would eat that up so bad. And I am manifesting that they make ice skating dolls for the 12-inch dolls. And then last but not least is actually a point that I didn't have on this list until a few days ago because I didn't even think about this until it already happened. Freaking collector dolls, man. It wasn't even on my radar that could be a possibility, which is crazy because every other doll brand has collector dolls. There's Barbie collector dolls, there's Bratz collector dolls, there's Rainbow High collector dolls, there's Monster High collector dolls. Why not Disney Illy, man? What makes them so different that they can't do collector dolls too? Well, they answered that they're not different. They are just like all the other fabulous doll brands. And they made two collector Devil Wears Prada dolls. I can't even get into the emotions I felt when I saw the post on youloveit.com that these dolls were going to exist. One, I didn't believe it. Two, The Devil Wears Prada is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I actually had a phase as a child where I would play the movie, I would watch it all the way through, I would take it out of the DVD player, and I would immediately pop it back in and watch the movie over and over again. I had some weird, like, just connection with it. I loved it. It made me want to work in a magazine when I was older. Like, I love that movie. I love, love, love that movie. And so these collector dolls really opened up a whole new world of possibilities, because Disney has a lot of IPs that they now have control of and own. And I think that, we were kind of thinking about the cartoon movies, and yeah, we're seeing all these animated films throughout the years that we love, but seeing like, oh, they could do dolls from live action movies, and not necessarily movies that you would think are Disney movies, but on technicality, the Devil Wears Prada is now owned by Disney. And so they were able to get away with making dolls of the characters in the movie. I personally was thrilled by this. Some people had some differing opinions. I think some people thought they were too expensive, which they were $50 each, which is expensive. Yes, I'm not going to say it's not, but at the same time, it is a collector doll. A lot of brands, the prices are going to go up for collector dolls. And I'm really excited to see the clothing, because the clothing does seem very high quality. So I do think that it will be hopefully worth the $50. But this just opened a whole new side of Disney Illy that I was not expecting to see from them. Frankly, it just wasn't even on my radar that they could ever do something like that and make, some really nice dolls that are collectors. I don't know. So I bought that immediately. They did come in. It was a whole thing. I had to have my boyfriend get them and then me pay him back later, because where I was at work, I could not get to the computer to be able to order them. So he ordered them for me, and I just had him send them to his house because I didn't want him stressing about trying to put in a different address and stuff when I just wanted him to get the dolls, because I didn't know how popular they were going to be. I didn't know. I think they were really just for pre-order. I didn't know that, so I was just kind of like, let's set the alarm, go ahead and get these for me, and then we'll, worry about it later, because I'd rather be proactive and stressed about it than miss out on them, because I thought no one was going to order them. But I am happy they were pretty reasonably accessible, because that's why I mostly don't collect collector dolls from other brands, is because they're just so hard to get sometimes, and it stresses me out. And I'm typically not a collector that likes to be waiting for the website to be live and getting my credit card out and typing as fast as I can. I don't know. That kind of stuff usually just stresses me out. So I'm glad that it was just part of the Walmart website and you could just go on there and buy it. It seemed pretty easy. I don't think, from what I've seen online, I haven't seen anyone expressing not being able to get it when they wanted to. At least for that reason. Maybe some people did because of pricing, which again, I completely understand. They are expensive. Definitely not disagreeing with that, but it wasn't out of like, oh, they sold out before I was able to get one. So I hope they don't start to do what other brands do, though, and do limited edition, not necessarily doll brands, but just brands in general, doing limited edition stuff, scarcity, what is that called? Like scarcity tactics to get people to feel like they have to buy things now. I don't like that with brands. So I hope that Disney LA kind of continues, if they continue with more collector dolls, to make them fairly manageable to purchase, because then I will continue to do so. This video ended up being longer than I thought it would be, but man, I just really wanted to talk about all of my thoughts and feelings about this brand and what I would like to see from them, because this is the most attached I felt to a brand in a really long time. I honestly haven't felt this way about a doll brand probably since Mini Loopsy was a thing. And so I think I just so badly want them to thrive and keep going. And I am glad we've had as many releases as we have had, and that they just keep growing, because there's been so many times I've seen posts of people being like, oh my gosh, the brand is done, because it'll be silent for months and there won't be any releases or any announcements. And then all of a sudden, like 5 dolls will get released, and it's like, whoa, okay, they must be doing okay, because if they weren't, they wouldn't be making all these new dolls. And they're making, I forget what the small ones are called. I think they're called, are they Disney Teensies? I want to say. I don't know. I'm not a huge like small doll person, but they've made more of those. They're doing a collector doll now. They're making dolls that have more outfits than before. They're making fashion packs. Like, this brand must really be thriving, and I want to continue to see it thrive. And so hopefully someone who works for Disney Italy, I know they're not actually, but hopefully one of them is listening to this. They're jotting down notes on a notepad, and they're going to take this to Mr. Jakk Pacific himself and present all of my lovely wishes and ideas and fulfill every single one. But anyways, let me know your thoughts. Let me know if there's anything that I missed that to you is like a glaringly obvious request from them, or if there's anything you disagree and you're like, actually, I don't think we do need that, and then we can chat about it. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.